Good evening. It's wonderful to be with you. Agree with all of you this evening. Ty, thank you for that presentation. And I just want to share a little bit of a personal testimony. Actually, my home parish in Peoria is the most recently newly built and consecrated parish in the diocese. And the campaign we ran for our parish was actually the third campaign that we worked with Guidance and Giving in order to complete. First, we built a new Catholic grade school, and following that, a parish hall, and finally, the church itself. And at each phase of that journey, not only did I learn about fundraising and campaigning as I was in seminary, which is a valuable experience, but even more significantly, I got to see what happens to a community that comes together to complete a project like this. And several things stuck out that I just want to share briefly with you tonight. First of all, just hearing Monsignor go through a little bit of the history of Streator. It's got such a rich history, numerous churches and rectories, and it made me think a little bit about St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians, when the Corinthians are saying, I was baptized by Apollos, and I'm baptized by Paul, and I'm baptized by Cephas. And Paul is telling them, look, we're all one in Christ. And that's what I got to experience in my home parish. Though we didn't come from a number of different parishes in the same town, there's always going to be factions, there's always going to be divisions, and Christ is ultimately the one who brings us all together. And a new building campaign is a great opportunity to put some of those differences aside and reset ourselves on what truly matters, on being one, united in Christ as a church here in Streator. The second thing I got to see in my own community back in Peoria was the impact that this project had on the prayer lives of the people. Prayer is always a sacrifice, the time that we take to set aside to grow in our relationship with the Lord. And this campaign, it became for so many people an opportunity actually to enter into that sacrifice in a very physical way. And sacrifice, we know, is one of the most essential things for life to come about. We have the ultimate example of Christ's sacrifice unto his resurrection that brings life into the whole world. And so without sacrifice, oftentimes we don't have that opportunity to actually push ourselves to grow, not just in our prayer lives, but in our commitment to God in a greater sense, in our commitment to his church and allowing that church to grow and thrive on earth. And so getting to see in my home parish, people make significant commitments, not only for themselves in the future to hopefully have a beautiful parish, but for generations to come. It was a beautiful testament to the growing prayer life, and now people's excitement to come and share in that opportunity to pray, to worship, to glorify the Lord in a new church. And that leads me just to a third observation. Building a church is an opportunity for great hope. Christ makes all things new, and there's always an opportunity for us to take the next step and see where hope lies in our lives, in our communities, in the church around the world. And I've gotten to see for so many people how watching a building go up from the very ground till the cross is placed on the top became an opportunity for them to renew the hope in their lives. That the growth of a church was a symbolic for them of the growth of the faith in their own lives, something they could really have a stake in and really participate in. It really, in sum, over the course of 3 different campaigns, over 10 years of fundraising and building, and now rejoicing together in a new church, has filled the community with a new unity, a deeper prayer life, and a new sense of hope that hasn't ended. That's the final thing I want to end on tonight, is that this campaign hopefully will come to an end as soon as possible, right? To raise the money to build the church. But the fruits of this campaign won't end quickly. Hopefully those fruits will continue on for years and years to come in this community here in Streator. So I'm excited to be here. Having come from a newly consecrated church, I'm very excited to see the beginning of a new campaign here in Streator, to grow in each of those dimensions of unity, prayer, and hope with all of you. So I'm going to turn it back over now for some questions. If you have a question this evening, I'll try to bring the microphone to you if you just raise your hand, and that way we can all hear the questions and the responses.